Okay, imagine this scenario. You're just in a quiet room, maybe talking to a friend, and you mention something specific, maybe even a little obscure, something you haven't Googled, haven't typed anywhere.
Okay.
And then, like, minutes later, maybe an hour later, you open your phone and bam, there's an ad for that exact thing staring back at you.
Oh, yeah. That feeling.
Creepy.
Right. Or it's, the middle of the night, total silence, and your smart speaker just sitting there in the corner makes a noise. Like a click or a hum or maybe something that sounds, I don't know, almost like a whisper.
Yeah, that'll wake you up fast.
Or your phone screen just randomly lights up.
Yeah.
Face down on the table. And the little Face ID thing seems like it's searching in an empty room.
Okay, yeah, unsettling. Definitely.
And look, the rational part of your brain immediately jumps in, right? It's okay, it's an algorithm, it's a glitch.
A bug.
Sure, the logical explanation.
Intellectually, that's probably it. But there's this other part, isn't there? Something older, more primal. It whispers something different, suggests maybe it's not just code, maybe it's something else.
That little shiver down the spine.
Exactly. So why do we get that distinctly modern kind of chill, that 21st century bump in the night from our own gadgets?
Have our ghost stories just moved house? From like drafty castles to our circuit boards?
Yeah. And what does this fear of haunted technology actually tell us about ourselves, about our relationship with the things we build?
Deep questions.
Welcome to a new Mag Talk from English Plus podcast. Today, we're diving deep into this really fascinating, sometimes pretty chilling intersection of psychology and tech, the whole idea of haunted hardware.
That's right. And our mission today really is to unpack how our oldest anxieties, those really fundamental human fears we've carried around forever, have found these surprisingly effective new homes in the digital age.
New vessels for old fears?
Precisely.
Yeah.
We're going to trace this lineage, from early superstitions about cameras stealing souls.
Right.
All the way up to these modern legends of like killer arcade games and haunted video game files. And what we really want to explore is what these stories, these often really creative and unsettling narratives, reveal about how we feel about the very things we create, the powerful tools we let into our most private spaces. It's like the supernatural has gone digital.
Okay, let's definitely unpack that, because when you think ghost story, usually your mind goes to the classics, right?
Yeah, the old tropes.
Crumbling castles, secret passages, misty graveyards, dusty attics full of forgotten stuff.
Places with history, with atmosphere, places that feel haunted.
Exactly. The setting itself felt like part of the story, almost inviting the uncanny.
But now, it seems like ghosts have seriously upgraded their haunts. They're not just rattling chains in the attic anymore.
They're in the machine.
They're absolutely in the machine. They might be hiding in the static fuzz between radio stations, that sound, where it almost feels like voices trying to break through.
Oh yeah, definitely heard that.
Or they're lurking in corrupted game data, turning something fun and familiar into something, menacing.
Like a digital possession.
Kind of. Or maybe it's the weird silence on a dead phone line, or your phone buzzing in your pocket when there's no call, or that smart speaker talking when it shouldn't.
It's not just isolated incidents either, is it? There's this whole subgenre of urban legends now.
Oh, it's huge. It's thriving online. Cursed video games, recordings that supposedly capture voices from beyond, endless stories about a ghost in the machine.
It really feels like a collective anxiety being expressed.
It totally is. It's a deep well of how we're grappling with technology being so woven into, everything. Our homes, our relationships, our downtime.
So the big question then is, what is it about these things we built, these complex, logical machines? What makes them such perfect targets for our deepest, darkest, most illogical fears?
That's such a key point. And it's crucial to get that this isn't really new. It feels new because the tech is new, but the fear, that's ancient.
It's just found a new address.
Exactly, a new medium. Think about the history of cursed media. This idea that the medium itself, the photo, the recording, the film, can be tainted, dangerous, a conduit. It goes way back.
Like with early photography.
Absolutely. Back in the 19th century, when photography first appeared, it was revolutionary, almost magical. And almost immediately, this superstition popped up.
That it could steal your soul.
Literally steal your soul. Trap a part of you in the image. And from that, you got all these Victorian horror stories about haunted photographs.
Pictures where the eyes follow you, or ghostly figures appear in the background.
Yes, those were the jump scares of the era. It tapped into that unease about capturing a likeness so perfectly. What else could it capture?
And then technology moved from sight to sound.
And the fears followed right along. The phonograph, the tape recorder, suddenly you could capture voices.
Which led to EVP, electronic voice phenomena.
Precisely. The belief that you could record the voices of the dead in audio static, in the hiss on the tape. People would listen for hours, straining to hear whispers from the other side.
Wow. Dedication.
And then radio.
Yeah.
Suddenly voices were just in the air, which gave rise to stories of phantom broadcasts, weird signals, and those mysterious number stations.
Ugh, the number stations. Still creepy. Just endless strings of numbers.
Super creepy. Were they spies or something else entirely? The ambiguity fueled the legends. And then, of course, film.
The ultimate medium for this stuff, maybe?
Well, it certainly took the idea of the cursed object to a whole new level. The cursed movie became a real trope.
Reaching its peak with Ringo, or The Ring for the US audience.
Absolutely. The Ring is the perfect example. A physical videotape. You watch it, you die. The curse is literally embedded in the media, and it crosses over into reality. It's a terrifyingly direct concept.
When you lay it out like that, the pattern is just undeniable.
Isn't it? Every time humans invent a new way to capture reality or transmit information,
We invent a ghost story to go with it, almost immediately.
it seems like it's like we need to process the magic of it. To our ancestors, recording a voice was magic, and all magic in folklore has a potential dark side, right?
Power always comes with risk in those old stories.
Exactly. It's a fundamental way of grappling with something powerful that we don't fully grasp. If this new thing can capture us, maybe it can harm us too. It's a very primal caution.
Okay, so that brings us to the digital age. You said it supercharged this whole trend. How did things accelerate so much, especially with things like video games? They feel different.
They are different. The interactivity, the immersion, it changed the game, literally. The digital age, especially video games and the internet, provided this incredibly fertile new soil for these anxieties to just explode.
More complex systems, more ways for things to seem haunted.
More complex, more abstract, often more anonymous. It created entirely new avenues for fear. And two specific legends really stand out as capturing these modern anxieties perfectly. One from the arcade era, one from the internet age.
Okay, let's hear them. Where do we start?
Let's start with Polybius. This legend dates back to 1981. The story goes that a few arcades, supposedly in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon, received this mysterious new game.
Not your typical Pac-Man cabinet?
Not at all. Stark black cabinet. Just the name Polybius on it. The game itself, a kind of dizzying, psychedelic shooter. Very abstract, maybe disorienting.
Sounds intense. But the real story is the side effects.
That's what made it infamous. Players reported really severe psychological issues. Amnesia, like forgetting their own name or address. Terrible insomnia, nightmares, even allegedly suicidal thoughts.
Just from playing an arcade game, that's extreme.
Extremely. And then there's the really sinister twist.
Men in Black.
The Men in Black. People claim these mysterious figures would show up at the arcades. They didn't care about the money the game made. They just go to the back, connect equipment, and seem to be collecting data for the machine.
Data, not coins.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like they were monitoring something. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, Polybius vanished. All the cabinets were gone. No trace.
Wow. So the theory was, what, government experiment?
That was the prevailing theory. A mind control experiment disguised as a game, testing psychological effects on unsuspecting kids. And if you think about the time, early 80s, it makes sense why this story resonated.
How so?
Well, you had intense Cold War paranoia, right? Fear of shadowy government agencies doing secret things.
Sure, that was definitely in the air.
And you combine that with this brand new thing, immersive video games. Nobody really knew the long-term effects of staring at screens, manipulating these digital worlds for hours.
So Polybius became a focal point for both those fears.
Exactly. It's a perfect storm. The unknown creator, the faceless government using this new, poorly understood technology to potentially monitor and manipulate. It plays on that fear that maybe fun isn't innocent. Maybe it's a delivery system for something darker.
That the entertainment itself could be a weapon.
Precisely. It turns leisure into a potential trap.
Okay, so if Polybius represents the fear of the unseen, powerful creator manipulating things from behind the curtain, what about the fear of the creation itself going bad, turning on the user?
Well, that brings us perfectly to our second case study, Ben Drowned. This one is much more recent, originating around 2010 as a creepypasta.
Right, those online horror stories, often presented as real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which gives them this unsettling plausibility. Ben Drowned is told as a first-person account, which makes it feel very immediate.
So what's the setup?
Classic gamer scenario. College student buys a used Nintendo 64 cartridge of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, but it looks weird. Majora is just scribbled on it in Sharpie.
Uh-oh, red flag.
Big red flag. And there's already a saved game file on it, simply titled Ben.
And of course, he messes with the Ben file.
Well, he starts a new game, but the Ben file is still there, lurking. And almost immediately, the game starts acting wrong. Really wrong.
Wrong how? Just glitchy. Old cartridges can be glitchy.
Not just glitchy, malevolently glitchy. Characters show up where they shouldn't. The music might play backward or distorted. Dialogue gets twisted into creepy phrases like, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?"
Okay, that's a line from the game, but context is everything.
Exactly. It feels targeted.
Yeah.
And the most famous part is this creepy statue version of Link, the hero, that just follows the player, staring blankly.
Ugh, that's unnerving.
Deeply unnerving. And the story evolves. The player figures out the cartridge is supposedly haunted by the ghost of a boy named Ben who drowned.
Heck's the name.
Hence the name. But here's where it gets really modern horror. The haunting doesn't stay in the game.
It bleeds out.
It bleeds out. Ben starts communicating with the player through their computer using an AI chatbot program called Cleverbot. The ghost escapes the cartridge, gets onto the network.
Whoa. So the digital ghost breaks containment.
That's the terrifying implication. It can reach you outside the game world. It blurs the line between the virtual nightmare and your actual reality.
That taps into a whole different set of fears than Polybius, doesn't it?
Completely different, but just as powerful. Ben Drowned is all about the corruption of innocence and nostalgia.
Taking a beloved childhood game and twisting it.
Exactly. Majora's Mask is this touchstone for so many people. Safety, adventure, escapism. To have that space violated, turned into personalized psychological horror, is deeply disturbing.
And the glitches aren't just random errors anymore.
They become metaphors. They represent the fractured, tormented spirit of Ben. His ghost is literally hijacking the game's code, using the familiar characters and world as its puppets to inflict terror.
It really speaks to that fear that our digital creations could gain some kind of sentience or become vessels for it and turn hostile.
It absolutely does. It's the fear that the digital walls we build, the screens we hide behind aren't safe. That the ghost in the machine isn't just a metaphor, but something that could actually reach out and affect us in the real world. Like a virus crossing from digital to psychological.
So taking these two big examples, Polybius and Ben Drowned and all the similar stories out there, what's the bigger picture? What are these digital campfire tales really telling us about ourselves?
Well, they're definitely more than just spooky stories. They're psychological barometers, really. They reflect how we're processing this incredibly complex, fast-changing technological world we've built.
Ways of dealing with the anxiety of it all.
Pretty much. One key mechanism is what you could call the black box problem.
The black box, meaning we don't know how it works inside.
Exactly. Think about your smartphone. You use it constantly, but do you really know how it does what it does? The layers of code, the microprocessors, the network protocols. For most people, it's just input-output. The middle is a mystery.
Yeah, totally. I press a button, stuff happens. How? Magic, basically.
Right. And that lack of understanding, that abstraction, creates this perfect space for fear to grow. When the tech glitches or does something unexpected, like that targeted ad or the weird noise, our logical brain might struggle to explain it quickly.
And the old brain steps in.
The old brain steps in. In the absence of a clear, immediate, logical answer, we default to older patterns. We assign agency. We look for intention. Saying it's haunted or it's listening is often simpler and frankly more emotionally resonant than trying to figure out some obscure software conflict or algorithmic coincidence.
It gives the mystery a narrative, even if it's a scary one.
It absolutely does. Our brains crave narrative. And it really highlights that question, how much do we actually understand the tools we depend on so much? And what anxieties does that gap in understanding create?
It creates plenty, apparently. And you mentioned another mechanism, Frankenstein's echo.
Ah, yes. Frankenstein's Echo, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, written way back in 1818. It's basically the blueprint, isn't it? The ultimate story of the creation turning against the creator.
Playing God and having it backfire.
Exactly, that deep Promethean fear. And what's fascinating is, over 200 years later, we're still telling ourselves that same core story. We just have new monsters.
Like AI. The fear of sentient AI becoming hostile.
That's the most direct modern parallel. The anxiety about AI surpassing us, becoming uncontrollable, maybe even malevolent, that's pure Frankenstein. HAL 9000, Skynet, Ava from Ex Machina.
And these haunted games and devices are like smaller versions of that fear.
They're more intimate versions, yeah.
Yeah.
The haunted game cartridge, the creepy chatbot, the ghost in your social media feed, they're all exploring that same terror on a more personal, everyday scale. It's like we're rehearsing the big fear, the AI apocalypse, with these smaller digital ghost stories. It lets us process the anxiety in a contained way.
So it's less about the tech itself being inherently evil and more about projecting our feels onto it, especially when we don't understand it.
You've nailed it. And that leads to the final piece, really. These technologies become vessels for our ancient fears.
Pouring old wine into new bottles.
Or maybe old ghosts into new machines. The technology changes constantly, sometimes dizzyingly fast. But the core anxieties, fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, fear of being violated or manipulated, those are timeless.
So a cursed video game is like the modern cursed amulet.
Precisely. Or the modern Dybbuk box from Jewish folklore, an object containing a restless spirit. An online ritual to summon something is the new grimoire spell.
And the smart speaker listening in?
It's the new genie in the bottle. A powerful servant invited into your home that might just have its own agenda or twist your words or harbor something else.
Wow.
So connecting it all up, the tech itself isn't the scary part. What's really unsettling, what grabs us deep down, is the idea that these powerful, often opaque tools we've welcomed into our most intimate spaces.
Our bedrooms, our pockets.
Yeah, that they can become conduits, channels for forces that are ancient, powerful, maybe hostile. It's that collision of the hypermodern and the deeply primal that generates the real terror. It forces us to ask not just what our tech does, but what it might unleash.
That really brings it all together, these stories, Polybius, Ben Drowned, real or not, their power comes from tapping into those deep shared anxieties. They really are the folklore of our time.
They absolutely are. And asked around online instead of around a campfire, but serving the same function, their factual accuracy is almost beside the point.
It's what they say about us.
Exactly. These stories are the ongoing, often subconscious conversation we're having with ourselves about this world we're building. They articulate our awe at what we can create, our sheer wonder at technology,
But also our deep fear.
but also our profound, underlying, maybe even promethean fear that our creations might take on a life of their own, evolve beyond us, or turn on us. The truth is, the ghost in the machine, it isn't some external spirit invading our circuits.
It's us.
It's us. It's the reflection of our own hopes, our creativity, yes, but also our deepest, oldest anxieties, just staring back at us from the screen.
Makes you think twice the next time your phone acts weird, doesn't it? What story does your gut reaction tell? What stood out to you listening to this? How does it make you feel about the devices you use every single day? Something to ponder. And this was another Mag Talk from English Plus Podcast. Don't forget to check out the full article on our website, englishpluspodcast.com, for more details, including the focus on language section and the activity section. Thank you for listening. Stay curious and never stop learning. We'll see you in the next episode.